Hello, my Stampin' Peace friends. I'm Mary Knabe coming to you live on September 5th from Westerville, Ohio, just outside of Columbus. I am so excited about today's Facebook Live demonstration because it is the first Thursday of September. And many of you know that on the first Thursday of the month, I do a one-sheet wonder, and all the cards show you everything so you can make cards with the same one-sheet wonder. And each month is a different one-sheet wonder. So before we start that, I just want to give a reminder. We have lots of new products, including scrapbook kits and some two-tone cardstock. So check it out. stampinpeace.com and click shop Stampin' Up products. If you can see all the new things right there. If you don't have a demonstrator, I would love to earn your business and I'd be happy to send you a complimentary catalog. All you have to do today is go to stampinpeace.com and click contact, fill out that contact form, and let me know that, excuse me, that you would like a complimentary catalog. Lots of good things to share. And I also want to remind you that Saturday is the last day to register for my, let's see, where am I going here? My Shepherd's Care Class to Go. I'm going to quickly show you just a couple of the cards. They are wonderful, and I think you'll really like them. All the information is at stampinpeace.com, or if you get my email newsletters, information is there as well. Okay, and again, Saturday is the last day to order your Shepherd's Care Class to Go. You can get it with or without the stamp set, and you have the option to buy just the PDF tutorial. All right, let's get going because I'm super excited for showing you today's one-sheet wonder. I'm going to flip my camera around now, and while I do that, would you please share this live video and invite others to enjoy this demonstration with us. Oops, which way am I going here? There we go. Okay, first of all, I'm going to very quickly run through the products I'm using. When you use this one-sheet wonder or the card sketches, you may be choosing different products to use. Maybe you purchase something new that you're really excited to get started with. Maybe you're using something you have, but I'll just show you quickly the products I'm using today for my one-sheet wonder. And these things are all from the Regal Winter Suite in our mini catalog. There's this wonderful stamp set and dies. We've got this beautiful, and I'm going to have to order more because I'm using this a lot, Blackberry Bliss and gold trimmed ribbon. Really easy to work with too. And I think it would be great for Christmas cards with like maybe a deep mossy meadow and Blackberry Bliss and very vanilla. Love it. And then we have these Regal foil gems in 4 colors that coordinate with the Regal Winter DSP. And here are the 6 different prints. You get the florals on one side in a variety of colors, super colorful. And then on the back side, you're going to get some more subtle, I'll say subtle tones and subtle patterns to use. So excellent for both. And this is the one I'm going to be using for my One Sheet Wonder demonstration. Now, you know, the most important thing about the One Sheet Wonders is how we cut the cardstock, or how we cut our DSP, our pattern paper, to make the most of it. And I always challenge myself to use every single bit of my 12 by 12 sheet of designer series paper. And that's what you're going to see again today. And then after I've designed my One Sheet Wonder, I guess I'm kind of doing it at the same time, create card sketches or card layouts that use all the pieces. So I have a lot of fun with these, as you can tell. And it seems like you, my viewers and customers, are enjoying them just as much as I am. So I've got my 12 by 12 sheet of DSP in my paper cutter, and I'm going to trim right down the middle at 6 inches. Then I'm going to turn this and cut again at 6 inches. Then one of these 6-inch squares, I'm going to cut in half in both directions at 3 inches. And that will give me 4 3-inch squares. And I'll be using these for card sketches A and B, but I'm going to lay them out. As I'm doing my cutting, I always like to lay things out in order that I cut, because typically the card sketches will mirror that. Okay, so in other words, as I lay out my first cuts, they're going to go with the first couple card sketches. Got it? Okay, so the next one I want to cut at 4 3/4 inches. Okay, and then I'm going to cut the 6-inch by 4 3/4 inch piece of DSP. I want it in the horizontal position. And I'm just going to measure out to 1 inch, and I'm going to cut all the way across in 1 inch increments. When I cut 1, 1 1/4, and 1 1/2 inch pieces, I prefer to measure on this right side of my Stampin' Up paper trimmer. So when you've done that, you will then have 6 DSP strips, okay, that all measure 1 inch by 4 3/4. And you know what I should have done and should have told you is I meant to keep those in order, and I didn't do that. So let's see if I can just put them back together real quick here. Just because for the layout I'm using, I just think it looks nicer when they are in order. And let's see here. Okay, there's one. And then I think this other one is going to fit right in here somewhere, but it's not doing that for me. Oh, it looks like this goes here. So then that, oh folks, see, this is why you keep them in order when you're doing your cutting. Something doesn't seem right here. Oh, I know. How about that? So as a reminder, when you're cutting, keep them in the order, because they will just look nicer on the card if they are in sequential order. So those are for card sketch C. Now I have this 6-inch by 1 1/2 inch piece left, and I'm just going to cut this, or 1 1/4, 6 by 1 1/4. I'm going to cut this at 3 inches. And this will actually be used, these 2 pieces, for my last cards. which would be card sketch G, and I'm going to combine those with some other cuts. Now I've got the second 6" by 12" piece, and I'm going to, well, you can keep cutting squares. I was going to say we could do it 3 inches down, but let's just keep cutting squares. So this, I'm going to, this first square, cut in half in both directions again. I'll end up with 4 3-inch squares, but then I'm going to be cutting these squares. The first set I'm going to cut into 1-inch strips. Again, a reminder, keep them in order, unlike I did on the last example. I'm just going to push these out of the way so I know that I will have them in order as I need them. And I'm going to do that with a second square, cutting at 1 inches. So then I'll have 3 strips that measure 1 inch by 3 inches. And again, I want to keep those in sequential order. Then I've got these 2 squares left, okay? And what I want to do here is cut them in half across. So I'm just going to turn and cut at 1.5 inches. And these 2 I want to keep in sequential order. And I want to take a look at this. So I want to cut across. So kind of double check before you cut. Okay, just like that. All right. And then the last square, I'm going to cut across at 4 inches. And then with that 6" by 4" piece in the horizontal position, I'm going to cut it 3 inches. So we're up to card F now. And then this last piece, I'm going to cut in half at, let's see here. Did I do this correctly? 2 inches? Yes, 1 inch. Okay, cutting across at 1 inch. And then each of these strips, I'm going to cut at 3 inches. Okay, and again, just trying to keep them together in their sequential order. Now, do you remember when I got to the bottom of the first 6 by 12" DSP, and I said, I'm going to have these pieces left over? How did they go? Like that. We're actually going to flip these over, okay? And one of these is going to go with each of the last set of cuts we made, okay? And you'll see that as I put the cards together. I'm just going to leave these here. I'll get to them later, but all the other ones that I've cut are up here because I've kept them in order. So let's make our first set of cards. And these will be using card sketch A. So I'm going to take 2 of the 3-inch squares that I've cut from my One Sheet Wonder. I love this blueprint on the back as well. Isn't it pretty? And I'm going to mount these onto bubble bath cardstock that measures 3 1/4 by 3 1/4. Okay, so 3-inch squares of DSP from my One Sheet Wonder are then being mounted onto cardstock that measures 3 1/4 by 3 1/4. I've already done all of my card bases today, just because One Sheet Wonders can be very time consuming. So I did this step for all 13 cards ahead of time. So these are vertical cards. I'm going to add these strips of Night of Navy cardstock, and these measure 2 inches by 5.5 inches. And I'm just putting them right down the center of my card front, just like that. And then I'll do the second card. And then I'm going to mount these onto my card fronts. I don't know that that's quite centered or quite straight. Okay. You could put these pieces up on dimensionals if you want. I chose not to because I'm going to add a sentiment that will be on dimensionals. And when I'm laying these squares, I'm really just looking at the left, the top, and the right sides to try to get even margins around those 3 sides. And then we have this nice open space here for sentiments. And I've gone ahead, again, for the sake of time, I try to be respectful of your time. For the sake of time, I have pre-stamped my sentiments for this demonstration. And I'm just going to add them halfway between the bottom of the layered squares and the bottom of my card base. So these are Card Sketch A. And with this One Sheet Wonder, you make 2 using Card Sketch A, okay? Then I'm going to do, I've got everything in order here, so I'm kind of shifting and pulling things around. So then I'm going to do Card Sketch B that also uses those other 2 3x3 squares. Now this card sketch, you'll see, I want to make sure I'm putting things on the right place. I'm using all of the same pieces that I used for A. The only difference will be that I will be making 2 horizontal cards or landscape cards. So I've just changed the direction, the orientation. So again, my 2-inch by 5.5 inch pieces of Night of Navy will go right across the center of my card front. And then I'll add my 3-inch squares cut from that One Sheet Wonder to bubble bath cardstock that measures 3 1/4 by 3 1/4. Okay, and you'll see as I go through this demonstration, I will give you all of the dimensions for cutting the 12 by 12, or I did already. Gave you all the dimensions and the cutting instructions for that 12 by 12 piece of designer series paper or pattern paper. And as I'm talking and demonstrating, I'm giving you all of the dimensions of each of the card sketches as well. So you'll have all the information you need right in this video to do this One Sheet Wonder on your own and make your own set of 13 cards. Now, if you're like me and like a PDF, this isn't quite straight, a PDF version that you can keep long term so that you can use now and in the future, at the end, I will tell you how you can get the PDF. So again, this is Card Sketch B, and it's really just changing the orientation of Card Sketch A. Do you see that? Okay, so there's A and B. And now we're moving on to Card Sketch C layout. Make sure I have all my pieces here. And for this, we're using those 1 inch by 4 3/4 inch strips that we cut from our One Sheet Wonder. And this is where I said keep them in order. And we'll use 3 on the first card and 3 on the second card. So again, these are going to be vertical cards. And I've got 2 pieces of bubble bath cardstock, and these measure 3.5 by 5 inches. Okay, 3.5 by 5. And for these cards with these 3 narrow strips, you might want to use some multi-purpose glue, because that gives us a little wiggle room to slide DSP into place so that we can make sure that we have good even margins around and between. And making sure I did a good job of keeping those in order. They're all the right way, nothing's upside down or in the wrong place. And see how that multi-purpose glue just allows me a little time to slide these around. And I think that looks good. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing again with the other 3 strips. Kind of keep your glue in the middle of your strips so that if you're sliding them around, you're not getting excess glue on the cardstock that you'll have to, like between and around pieces that we would want to prevent from getting sticky and all that. Notice I just lay them down, try to position them, but I'm not pressing them down hard in place yet because I figure I'm probably going to need to do some moving around of the strips, adjusting them slightly before I'm ready to press everything into place. I think this needs to go over a little bit more. Just very slightly. And I think that looks good, so I'll press with a flat hand. And then I'm going to put each of these onto the center of my card fronts. You'll notice for all of these cards, I'm using Blackberry Bliss for my card bases. And then for layering, I'm using Bubble Bath and Night of Navy. So I'm sticking to those 3 colors throughout this whole process of making the One Sheet Wonder cards, okay? And I only used 1 ink pad as well. I chose to do all of my sentiments in Blackberry Bliss. So I'm keeping it really simple, okay? Keeping it simple that way. Now, what I'm going to do is I want this ribbon just to kind of be a little decoration behind my sentiment. All right. And this sentiment is also from the Regal, what did we call it? The Regal Flora stamp set. And the die comes from that die set, the coordinating die set. And again, keeping it simple. Now you can use any stamp set you like, of course, just like you can use any DSP you want. That's what I love about these One Sheet Wonders. You can use whatever supplies you have, and in addition to the One Sheet Wonder, you're getting card sketches or card layouts that you can also use again and again. And you don't necessarily have to use the card layouts with just the One Sheet Wonder. Keep those card layouts as reference, and you can use them anytime. And actually I want this, well, it's okay. It could be a little more slanted if you like, the ribbon. And I'm just going to put it right in the middle. And that ribbon just adds a little something without taking away from the overall card. So I'm going to do the same thing on this one. I don't know why all these are stamped on both sides. I guess I did one side and thought it's not straight enough for you. See if I can make this one a little more slanted. Yes, I think I like it a little more slanted than straight up and down. But you do you, whichever you like. I'm gonna make this loop a little bit higher. Whoops. Okay. And again, put some dimensionals here. I like to go over the ribbon with dimensionals a little bit, just an extra insurance that they are being held, the ribbon is being held in place. Okay, just like that. And I think I'm going to trim those ends just to be a little bit shorter. Okay, so these were made with Card Sketch C, and we already have 6 cards done. We've made nearly half of our baker's dozen of 13. And Nancy Clark, the stamps and die cuts are all from the Regal Flora set, okay? Regal Flora. Pam Simmons, I'm so happy to see you on here. You just made my day by joining us. I know you've had quite a year and I haven't seen you for a while, so I am glad you're here. All right, moving on to, this would be Card Sketch D. And we're working with some more strips that we wanted to keep in sequential order. And these cards are going to be horizontal cards. So I've got my Blackberry Bliss card bases, and I'm adding a Night of Navy layer to the front. These measure 5 1/4 inches by 4 inches. Okay, 5 1/4 by 4. What are you thinking of the colors with these prints, or this print that I'm using? What do you think? Okay, I'm bringing in those 2 sets of 1 inch by 3 inch strips, keeping them in order. And then I'm going to, oops, I gotta put these on my card front first so I don't forget. These are 1 inch by 5 1/4, 1 inch by 5 1/4 pieces. And I'm just going to adhere them maybe like an inch above the bottom of the card front. Yeah, I'd say it's about an inch from the bottom of the card front. This isn't quite straight. Let me fix that. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is mount each of these strips onto the bubble bath cardstock. These strips of bubble bath cardstock are 1 1/4 by 3 1/4. Okay, 1 1/4 by 3 1/4. Doris, I agree. Was that Doris that said that? Yes, I agree. This bubble bath pink really makes the prints pop. And I initially was going to use white, but I decided I wanted to use some kind of color that coordinated with the print, but would be bright enough or for it to really make the DSP stand out, make it pop. I think that's what Dora said, make it pop. Yes. Because really it's the DSP that is doing the work for us. We really want to show off this DSP. Linda, that's an interesting statement. You would not have thought of putting Blackberry Bliss and Night of Navy together. They're very dark, aren't they? But against the light bubble bath and this print, I agree. They're perfect for this print. And of course, this print allows you lots of choices. I could have brought in some kind of green, which would have been nice also. Okay, making sure that I still have my strips in order. So now I'm going to put these on each of my card fronts. And with this, I am going to be centering these, but I'm going to use my multi-purpose glue so that I have a little opportunity to slide them around if I need to. So I'm going to start by trying to put this one pretty much centered, and then one on each side. Again, don't press down your strips until you're sure you've got them exactly where you want them. You've got your spacing down pretty good. Pull these down just a bit. There. By the way, I mentioned at the beginning that yesterday, September 4th, was a big day because we had a lot of new products debuting, I'll say. I did, on Tuesday's Facebook Live, I did a walkthrough of our new scrapbook brochure. And yesterday, I did a walkthrough of our new mini catalog. If you missed one or both of those, you can find them on yesterday's blog post, would have been late yesterday, like late afternoon, early evening, something like that, that I posted both of those videos to stampinpeace.com. They're also on my YouTube channel, which is Stampin' Peace with Mary Knabe. Thank you to all of you who have subscribed to my YouTube channel. I'm so excited. I was going for 10,000 subscribers and met that not too long ago. And now I'm already up over 10,500. So I'm on my way to 11,000 subscribers. So if you haven't been to my YouTube channel, please check it out. And if you like what you see, go ahead and subscribe. Okay, the last thing I'm going to do is add a sentiment. And I chose Missing You from that same, looking for my mini dimensionals, here they are, from that same stamp set, Regal Flora. These are just 1/2-inch strips, 1/2 inch by 3 inch, I believe. Yes, 1/2 inch by 3 inch. Notice how much I use my glass mat for checking my measurements. I love that we've got the grid and the numbers for us on here. And oops, it would help if I have it the right direction. So I'm centering it across this Blackberry Bliss strip. You remember that 1-inch strip we put across? So I'm just centering my sentiment there. Now, if you get the PDF tutorial, you'll notice that on the card sketches, we did not include the space for sentiments. The reason being is that depending on what stamp set you choose, your sentiment may or may not fit the same way, or you may want to put it in a different position based on, you know, maybe yours is a sentiment is a good one for using a circle punch. Okay, so on the card sketches for the One Sheet Wonder, you'll have instructions for the cards, but the sentiment part will not be on the template itself for the card sketch. Make sense? Okay, so that was card sketch D. And now we're going to move on to card sketch E, which uses these pieces. These were two of the 3-inch squares that we cut across at 1.5 inches. And with this card sketch, we're making just one card, okay? So this is card E, and we're making everything there. Yep, we're making one. Notice I made my bow ahead of time even, and I put it on a glue dot, just didn't pull it off that adhesive backing. Now, one of these pieces, either the top, there's 4, either the top or bottom piece, I want to flip over, okay? And we're going to use the opposite side. So I'm going to take this piece, add some adhesive, and I'm going to put this on my card front all the way to the fold, the left side all the way to the fold, and centering between the top and bottom of my card. Just like that, okay? Then these 3 pieces I will put on this piece of Bubble Bath cardstock in sequential order. And this piece of Bubble Bath measures 3¼ inches by 5. 3¼ inches by 5. And I think I'll be okay to not use my multi-purpose glue this time. Just want to make sure I'm getting these in order though. Okay, so something like this. You noticed on the last card I laid down the centerpiece. Sometimes I'll do, the top and bottom pieces, and I'm just looking at the margin on the 3 sides, okay? I'm not necessarily looking at what the space will be between, okay? But if I do that and then put the center one in, going closer to the right side than the left, and I just want to go for even margins around the top, right, and bottom sides here. Then I have pre-stamped and die cut my sentiment. Now this banner die is from the Stylish Shapes dies, all right? So that's the one thing, the Stylish Shapes dies, that's the one thing that is not part of the Regal Winter Suite. And then I made my bow with the pretty Blackberry Bliss and gold ribbon that is in that suite. And I'm just putting it to the left side of my sentiment. Isn't that pretty? There is just something about this layout that I really love so much. Okay. So Oh, it looks like some of you lost me for a moment. Okay, you'll be able to go back and watch the replay though. Nothing happened on my end, so I think we're all good. Okay, so now moving on, we're going to do card sketch F. We have 2 more card sketches to make 4 more cards. And that will give us a baker's dozen. Have any of you heard of that term, baker's dozen? It means like the baker gives you an extra donut or cupcake. So when you're buying a dozen, they're giving you an extra. So you get 13. So this is kind of like that. I'm calling this my baker's dozen one sheet wonder. So I'm adding a layer of bubble bath cardstock to the front of my card base. These pieces measure 4 1/8, okay? 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. Because on this card, I decided I just want a very, very, very small margin of the Blackberry Bliss showing. Now I'm going to use my 2 pieces of 3" by 4" DSP cut from the One Sheet Wonder. We're getting to the very last, if you think of our One Sheet Wonder today was divided in to 4 6 by 6 squares, we're down to the last square. So these are 3" by 4" pieces. And I'm putting them on bubble bath that measures 3 1/4 by 4 1/4" pieces. Yep. And then I am adding these layers to Blackberry Bliss, and the Blackberry Bliss measures 3 3/8 by 4 3/8. So I'm getting just a small margin of that Blackberry Bliss again. So 3 3/8 by 4 3/8 for the Blackberry Bliss. And these I am going to put up with dimensionals. Some of you are probably thinking, Mary hasn't used very many dimensionals today for all the cards she's making. But I'm getting some in there. So I'm just centering that on my card base. Like that. And then I have already stamped and die cut my sentiments, again using the Regal Flora bundle. I'm going to put some adhesive on the back, and I've cut 12" pieces of this pretty Blackberry Bliss and gold ribbon. And look what I'm going to do here. And actually, let me pull out my silicone craft sheet. Good for working with adhesives when we are trying not to get adhesive all over our work surface, or we need to move things around a bit. So I'm just kind of zigzagging my ribbon, and then I'm taking that sentiment with the adhesive on the back, and I'm just laying it down. Okay, and because I'm using the silicone craft sheet, it just pulls right off as if it's not sticking to anything. Okay, and you can make this larger or smaller if you want. You can reposition things if you feel the need to. Just pull up from the adhesive. Okay, and then I am going to, let's see, I did put these on with dimensionals also. And as I said earlier, I do like to put some dimensionals over parts of the ribbon just for some extra insurance that the ribbon stays in place. I hope you are cutting and trimming and using the edges of your dimensionals. We want to get as much use out of our products as we can. Makes those sheets of dimensionals go that much further. And then I'm just going to adhere this to the center of my card front. I am going to trim this one end down a little bit. Come on. And I'm going to give this end a little bit more of a slant. Okay, I like that. And I'm going to do the same thing with my other piece of ribbon and sentiment. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of lay this out in a zigzaggy way. And I've already got my adhesive on the back of my label, my sentiment, whatever you want to, banner, whatever you want to call it. Whoops. Again, once you place that down, if you want to reposition the ribbon, by all means, go for it. It's easy to do. And this ribbon is really forgiving when you need to pull it up. And I'm going to put that. Oops, no, I want dimensionals. Okay. I don't know if you've noticed, but my hand trimmers have gotten worse, actually, instead of better. So I still don't know why it's happening, but yeah, we'll wait and see what the doctor says with the follow-up. But it's a little bit frustrating when I'm working, but I am not going to let those shaky hands stop me from doing what I love to do and sharing what I love to share. Oh, I think that looks pretty good. I'm going to leave it just like that. Okay. And let's see. Then, oops, then we are down to our last two cards to make. Let me move some of these things out of the way. So if you'll remember, the last two, the last things we cut were strips like that, and we cut it in half. Okay, so we have two sets of 3-inch by 1-inch pieces. And then these were from the bottom of that first 6x12 piece that we were cutting. And it was 6 inches by 1 1/4. We cut down the middle at 3 inches. And I said, we're going to flip them over and use them that way. So that's what we're here to do right now. Don't you love how organized I was? I had all my pieces cut. I had all my sentiments ready, bows ready, the whole 9 yards. Okay, so this is how these pieces are going to go on our bubble bath cardstock. Now the bubble bath cardstock measures 3 1/4 inches by 3 3/4. 3 1/4 by 3 3/4. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and put my strips on. If you feel more comfortable doing this using the multi-purpose glue so you can slide them around if you need to, go ahead and do it that way. I don't know if you can hear that noise in the background. My new neighbor next door has a dog, so she's putting a fence in, and they're finishing up today. The workers are out there right now. I think they're putting on the gate because it sounds like they're drilling. So if you hear it, that's what it is. Again, on the actual template, and I'll tell you how you can get that, it'll tell you which pieces, DSP pieces, you're using with all the different card sketches. So it's easy peasy. All right, this 3 1/4 by 3 3/4 piece is now being put on Blackberry Bliss that measures 3 1/2 by 4 inches, right? Yes. I'm throwing a lot of dimensions at you, but with this video, you can go back and watch and pull the dimensions that way. But I will tell you how you can get a PDF tutorial if you're interested in that. Then those layers are going to go onto Night of Navy, and this measures 3 3/4 by 4 1/2. 4 1/4. 3 3/4 by 4 1/4. Alrighty. Some people like the video with the one sheet wonders because they can go back and do the replay and stop and start the video as they need to if they want to work along. So that's another option for you. I think I want to put, just looking at these differently. Yeah, there really isn't a direction to this print, which is nice. Makes it easy if you're using non-directional DSP with your one sheet wonders. But you can use directional paper. It's just that you might have to maybe shift the orientation of the cards from the sample or from that card sketch. So here I'm putting a piece of bubble bath cardstock that measures, I think it's 2 1/2 by 4 1/4, right across the center of my card front. Oh, Kathy, I did not think of that, but these nails do look pretty with this paper and all the colors I'm using today. And Kathy Crumlish, welcome back. Kathy is jumping back into her stamping. She hasn't done it for a while, and she sent me a message recently asking for a catalog, saying that she wants to jump back into stamping, which makes me so happy. And then I'm just placing this on the center of my card front. And I've got my thanks stamped in Blackberry Bliss on white, and I cut it out with I die cut it with one of the Stylish Shapes dies. That is an awesome set of dies to have. If you're looking for a really good all-purpose set, I would highly suggest you take a look at that. It has circles and squares in, I want to say, 4 different sizes, and then banners, 2 about this width, but 2 different lengths, this length and one a little bit longer. And then there are some skinny banners, also of 2 different lengths. So it's a really, really good, versatile set. And on this last card, I'm going to put a blue Regal foiled dot on each side of my banner. These Regal foiled dots just add a little bit of sparkle to your cards. Okay, so where are we? We're almost at an hour, not quite. And look what was made. I'm going to bring all these back in, see if I can squeeze them in here so you can see them all. I've got 13 fabulous cards from that one sheet of designer series paper. I have no waste of the DSP. I use 7 different card sketches, and wow, I love how they all turn out. What do you think? What do you think? Somebody else said, I really like the Night of Navy and the Blackberry Bliss and Bubble Bath together. I agree. So there you go. You've got a new color combination that you can use as well. All right, I will give away a few of these cards. If you would like to have your name entered into the drawing to receive a card made in this demonstration, type in the comments now. Let's see, how about baker's dozen? Because you're getting a baker's dozen of cards, 12 plus 1, 13. Baker's dozen. My baker's dozen one-sheet wonder. Kathy, 13. 13 is the number. If people think 13 is unlucky, oh, no, no, no. Not today. Not with my September one-sheet wonder. Baker's dozen. You're getting a total of 13 cards from this one sheet of designer series paper. Okay, any questions? Oh, I have to tell you. So in this demonstration, this video, you got all of the dimensions. I didn't hold anything back. Told you all of the products and all of the dimensions for the cardstock pieces for the card. I showed you how to cut the DSP at the beginning of the video. If you are interested in the PDF tutorial, there are 2 ways you can get that. If you purchase, I should say, if you order, place a Stampin' Up! Order with me using my monthly host code of $50 or more, that's before shipping and tax, $50 or more, I will send you the PDF tutorial free. Or you can purchase the PDF tutorial in my store. And to do that, you go to stampinpiece.com, click shop, and at the bottom of the drop-down menu will be PDF tutorials. And you click on that. The PDF is $18, so free with a $50 Stampin' Up! Order with me, or $18 if you purchase it in my online store. One thing I want to mention about the PDF store, well, a couple things. One is there are probably now over 140 PDF tutorials I have for sale. So these are currently, I believe, on page 9. The page number, so you only see like, I don't know, 9 or 12 at a time. So you go to the bottom of the page and you can click through the page numbers to see them all, or you can go right to page 9. Now, that's as of today. As I add tutorials, things will probably end up on other pages because I'm fitting them all in alphabetical order. Okay. The other thing I want to, or another easy way is to, and they're all in alphabetical order by name. You could also, once you get to the PDF homepage, you can put in the little search box at the upper right, Regal Winter or One Sheet Wonder, and it will bring up and you can click on it there. Okay. What else? Oh, the other thing is you're going to pay for the PDF right there in the PDF store. And then as soon as you pay, you can download the PDF yourself right from the site. Okay. You're not waiting. It's very convenient. You're not waiting for me to send it to you or anything like that. Of course, if you have trouble, then you reach out to me and we will get the problem resolved. All righty. Okay, everybody, have a great weekend. Thank you so much for spending this last hour with me. And I look forward to getting together with you again. However, next week, I will not have any Facebook Lives. I am going to Northern Ohio for a craft event Sunday evening through Thursday morning. And then crazy me, I had booked 2 craft events in the same week. So then I'm going to Southern Ohio, to Cincinnati, for a smaller craft event with a small group of friends in Cincinnati. And I live right in the middle of Ohio. So a couple hours north, and then I'll come back, do a load of laundry, and maybe, well, my first one I'm going to sew. So I'm real excited. So I'll have to show you what I'm sewing when I'm there. And then the second one I'll do stamping. So I'll switch out my stuff. But because of that, I will not have a live next week. Maybe I'll just pop on to say hi, who knows. But I will see you in 2 weeks. All right, the week of the 16th. Okay. Enjoy the rest of your day. Have a great weekend and happy stamping always.